My life be like, yeah. My life be like, yeah.
Hey guys, good morning. Pops the Paladin here. We're going to talk about Heroic Harjatan in the new Tomb of Sargeras raid. This fight is very easy, and it could have easily been the first boss, the second boss of the new raid. However, here we are, boss 3, 4, whatever route you decided to take. So, like I said, Harjatan is very simple. I ran a complete DPS build. I used Swarming Plague Hive because I figured my raid team was going to kill those DPS ads before I can actually do anything tremendously powerful in terms of DPS. I ran Seraphim. I have my Lego legs on, and I'm also running Cephus, but I wasn't able to proc Cephus. I just used it for stats once again. So what do you have to do for Harjatan? Well, he's got some weird mechanics and some weird timing, and if you rely on DBM, you might get a very weird interaction with Harjatan. But here's how you actually run it. So at about 80% energy, we were running it a little closer, more like 90% energy. You want to turn him around so that he's facing the raid. He's going to do this frontal cleave, and he needs to hit at least 5 raid members in order to split that damage. We just make sure he hits absolutely everybody, and that really mitigates a lot of that damage. The weird aspect that comes upon it here, and what you're looking at right here, is when he goes into this frost phase. When he goes into frost phase and he's at 100% energy, he's actually not going to do that frontal cleave. So you have to turn him away, and he's going to do something called frigid blows. Well, he's going to do anywhere between 4 and 5 is what we've noticed. And immediately after that last frigid blow, he's going to do the unchecked rage. And, well, if you relied on the old DBM counters, it's not going to hit everybody. If you rely on the new DBM counters, it's still probably not going to tell you at the right amount of time. So what you have to watch is frigid blows do count down, and once it says frigid blow 0, immediately turn him around, or even turn him around during that first frigid blow, so that way he does uncheck rage on the entire raid group. You're also going to notice that there are times when you turn him around for uncheck rage, as you just saw there, and he does frontal cleave the entire raid group. He still, it looked like the mechanic only hit 2 or 3 people, though he was facing the whole raid group. So he's got a little bit of weirdness inside this boss fight, but as long as you're, pretty much always making sure that at about 80% he's facing the raid group, you should be just fine. Other things to keep in mind: the green pools that get placed on the ground after ads die and what he throws down on the ground, you cannot be standing in them, because that's going to increase the damage that you take during frigid phase, and obviously damage that's being avoidable damage that's going out during any point in time in a raid group is terrible. So make sure you kite the boss away from the green pools, make sure your raid group stays out of there, but make sure they all stay clumped together as they move around the map, so that way unchecked rage can be caught and you aren't caught alone and die, because obviously as a tank you need to be there. It's very easy to run a DPS build in this because there isn't a lot of damage that goes out. The only time that you're ever going to increase damage is during this bleed stack that you can get. Now the max that I took it up to was 7 during the fight. The max my off tank took it up to was 6 during the fight because there was a taunt issue. But in actuality, it's not actually going to be that terrible for you to take this stack pretty high up there. Plus you have cooldowns, you have healer cooldowns available. I hardly ever used any of my cooldowns. The last time I used Guardians is the last few seconds of the fight, and I really only used Ardent Defender for my minuscule amount of Painful Truths. So there's not a lot of damage that goes out in this fight. There's not a lot of execution that occurs in this fight, at least on heroic level and normal level difficulties. And in Mythic, obviously, when we go into Soaking Eggs, it's going to be a lot different. But for this specific fight, hopefully you aren't struggling too much on this one, because it is, like I said, a fairly easy fight. Other than the rinse, repeat, turn him for unchecked rage, and watch out for frigid blows. I hope you guys had an easy time with this fight. Hopefully this video helped you if you were struggling with when those unchecked rages are coming out in weird times. I wish you all the best in loot. There's some good stuff off of here. Once again, check out my video for what loot you need out of the Tomb of Sargeras, and I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks very much for tuning in, and have a great day.